So most people, when you present them with a problem, like to go directly to the solution. What design thinking does is it's a process that allows you to expand that solution set that gives you the opportunity to come up with a unique solution. So it's a human-centered design process, and the way we teach it here is in 5 steps. So there's empathy, and then there's define, and then there's brainstorming, and then prototyping and testing.
So, and how is design thinking different from other methods to do innovations?
I think the things that are unique about design thinking is that we start and focus on the user. And so a lot of people make the mistake of when they're trying to come up with something new, they don't talk to the people who they're designing for. And a lot of the people who come in to learn at the design school, that's one of the big epiphanies that they have, is going and taking your idea or taking time to talk to the people who will use the thing that you're trying to make to find out if to make something that really fulfills a need that they have. And so when we talk about talking to users, it's not in the sense that you would go and ask them what they need and then you make that thing for them. There's a famous quote from Henry Ford, who created the automobile, that said, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. It's hard for people to articulate something that doesn't exist, right? But what we ask people to do is to go and talk to the users in order to uncover what their need is, and then you apply your expertise to that need in order to come up with possible solutions.
What happens if you design and manufacture a product, but you haven't done your need finding in a thorough way? So what happens to that product?
Right. Well, what can happen is that you'll find out at the end that you didn't do a very good job of fulfilling someone's need. So in my experience, sometimes, in industry, before I joined the D School, we would come up with something but find out very late that there were problems with it, or that people weren't using it in the way that we thought that they would, or that it wasn't optimized for the way that they wanted to use it. We talk a lot here about failing early and failing often, and there are a couple of reasons why that's a good idea. One is because if you fail early on, it doesn't cost you a lot to change it. So we do a lot of low-res prototyping here, and so the reason we do that is because instead of designing an app for the iPad and hiring the programmer and getting it all done and then putting it out into the public and seeing how people like it, we encourage our students to sketch out the user flow of an app on a piece of paper or on multiple pieces of paper. And that way, when they show it to a user to get feedback, for one, it's not as precious to them as it would be if it were more of a polished product. And so they can take real feedback and not sort of do a pitch job and say, hey, don't you love this thing? Tell me what you like about it, and just really be more like, check this out and tell me what you think. But the second reason is because if there are problems with it, it doesn't cost a whole lot to change it, because you just had drawn what it might be on a piece of paper before you went to the trouble of programming. And so a lot of times if you don't talk to your users before you create a product, then you're not really creating something that's useful to them.
You have long background in working in the media industry, and now you're teaching here at D-School, and also now you're on your way to Helsinki, Finland, to teach design thinking there for people who want to do innovations in the media.
Yes.
So what do you think, how can we make successful innovations in media?
I think that one of the important things that we need to do right now is take risks. And it's been difficult in American media to take risks because the financial circumstances, have made that hard. The resources are not such that, you have a lot of extra bandwidth to try out new things. I don't think that media is in trouble. I think we just need new things, and we need to apply our sort of natural, what I call our natural entrepreneurship of journalism, to creating new audiences and reaching new audiences in innovative ways. I came to Stanford on a journalism fellowship to study at the D School. The D School does a great job of creating an environment where you try something out, you capture the learnings from it, and you keep trying until you get to the thing that really can make a difference. That hasn't been my experience in media in the professional world because it's just very hard to take risks. One of the ways that we teach people to do that is we work in multidisciplinary and collaborative teams. And so our students at the D School will come from any of the graduate programs at Stanford. So you might find yourself on a team as a professional journalist with someone in the business school, or someone from the law school, and someone from the medical school, and someone from engineering. And what you're doing is you're applying your expertise, sharing your expertise equally in order to create something better together than any of you could do on your own. A lot of what happens in our industry and in industries in general is that you work with people who are like-minded, and so the solutions you come up with are just incremental advances to what you've done in the past. What we do here is we have this radical collaboration, and so the space between your expertises, that mashup is sort of where the specialness can happen. That's where you can really come up with something that's truly innovative.
So then the last question. So you're heading to Finland to coach a design thinking workshop there for people who are interested in participating in the Uutisraivaaja Innovation Challenge. Mm-hmm. So what is your message for the participants? Like, what would you like them to bring to the workshop?
I would say be ready to roll up your sleeves. Everything that we do and the way we're going to do this is in an experiential, hands-on learning. Don't be afraid to question. You know, I think that's kind of a natural thing for journalists anyway. But we're going to try some things that you may not be comfortable with. The key is to just throw yourself into the process and question some of your assumptions, but also sort of suspend your disbelief. The more that you allow yourself to experience design thinking and experiential learning, the more you'll be able to take from it. And I don't expect everybody to say, oh, all of this is applicable to me. But the more open-minded you are and the more participatory you are, the more you'll be able to find the things that are applicable that you can use after I'm gone. So I'm very excited to come to Finland. I think it's going to be an awesome experience, and I look forward to meeting everyone who's there.